name is Justin Burns, Editor of Machinery. Welcome to this Machinery Talks interview. On February 26th, Siemens released its benchmark report on digitalization in the machine building industry. This in-depth report uncovers the industry's digital transformation and its impact on products and processes. With me to discuss the highlights of this report is Ben Sheath, Vice President and Managing Director of Siemens Industries Software. A very warm welcome to you, Ben. First of
Thank
all,
you, Justin.
can you please tell us a little bit about the survey and why you conducted it?
Well, thank you, Justin. So, digitalization is transforming everybody's life and it's transforming many of our customers and the competitive landscape in which they sit. We really wanted to understand what was driving the change and what was impacting those machine builders so that we could respond appropriately in helping them transform their businesses. Now, because machine builders are the enablers of everything else that we do, whether that be the food we eat or the cars we drive, we needed to really understand the impacts of digitalization on them, because that cascades into all the other companies that they go forward and support. So you could class it as being seeing kind of machine building as the mother of all industries. The challenge that we face as machine builders is especially daunting as you compete in a very dynamic environment. And that was the main driver for us to conduct the survey, so that we could understand the maturity of the machine builders across the UK and Ireland, where their sense of urgency was, what their business priorities were, what they saw as the roadblocks, the challenges, and then how they were going to address them, and what they viewed as being the important things for their strategy.
So now I've read the report. Obviously, like most good surveys, it largely confirms what one might suspect. But obviously, there are some real surprises that emerge from the report too. Notably, it tells that the number one challenge facing machine builders in the UK and Ireland is productivity and efficiency.
Yeah, and that is the chestnut that is everybody's trying to crack. What's fascinating is that you've got things like cost reduction in a fairly distant sort of second place, but that's the situation today. That's what's happening today. If you look to the future, then the machine builders expect to have very different challenges over the next 3 years. The situation 3 years from now, for example, time to market is rocketing up the priority list. So it's interesting to see that productivity and efficiency is critical now, but actually, as people make an investment journey, then it's those future things we need to be looking like time to market, sustainability, that are critical for the future.
And obviously, another one of the sort of findings that came out that surprised me considerably is that 10% of respondents see service growth as a focus area in the next 3 years, which is very low, isn't it? Really.
It is extremely low. Yes, Justin, you're spot on. And I think what was even more interesting was nearly half of them said they generated no value from service. So that's to say, almost half of machine builders see service provision, so post sale provision of service to the customer, as a cost they have to bear rather than an opportunity where they could generate new revenue streams. So we think there's a really great opportunity surrounding their hardware by adding value-added digital services, predictive maintenance, for example, or preventative maintenance, such that that doesn't have to be costed into the sale price of the initial purchase and can actually be costed into the life cycle by providing additional services to the client and the customer.
And another interesting finding is that proportion of machine builders saying that they either partially or fully define machine specifications for their customers is almost 50-50, which is obviously very interesting. And only 3% of respondents tell us that the end customer fully determines the specifications of the machines they order. What does this tell us?
Well, I don't think I found that terribly surprising, really. I think when we look at our customer base and our customers, companies cannot ignore people and their clientele asking for a fully customized solution. But that is time consuming, it's costly, and it's not a competitive way to move forward. what organisations need to be thinking about is how they can move to things like engineer to order and configure to order, such that if the machine builder has digitalised their design and their manufacturing process, they can then standardise and modularise their offerings with interchangeable components, standard interfaces, open standards, such like. And that makes it much easier to create a configured and customised solution
Hmm.
that fits the end user's requirements. And as we talk about within Siemens, it's making that complexity a competitive advantage. So how can I take the complexity of what my customers are asking into my own business and then use that as a competitive advantage to provide the bespoke, personalised solution that end user wants.
Hmm. Hmm. And arguably the most surprising finding from the survey, though, is that nearly half of respondents say have no strategy for digitalization at all, which strikes me as quite remarkable, considering we're in 2024 and we're surrounded by digital technologies in the workplace and across society. I mean, it's quite amazing, really, in 2024 that they're saying that.
Yeah, and I think when we discussed this internally, we were quite shocked by it. You're right, Justin. It was a surprising number had no long-term kind of strategy for digitalisation. Now, what we found interesting is that in our personal lives, we're all, as you said, everybody's dealing with digitalisation all the time, and yet many of the processes that our customers are looking at and the people we're trying to help are looking at are managed by spreadsheets and manual intervention. Now, when we look at machine builders that are really accelerating their success, then they are making widespread use of digital technology.
Hmm.
The question is how are they joining those individual digital technology elements together to create a digital thread and
Hmm.
then use that to define an overall strategy to define their decisions and inform their investment decisions as they move forward to fulfill that overall strategy.
Hmm. And obviously, looking at this, I mean, how do we overcome this, and what can companies do to develop a digitalization strategy?
Well, it's not as difficult or as intimidating as maybe it can seem for organisations. We've got some webinars coming up, which I would highly encourage people to listen to on March the 26th. And Siemens are always here to help organisations understand that roadmap and how they can implement that level of capability within their business.
Hmm. And for you, is the digital roadmap, is that kind of where one of the starting points for a lot of how you work with companies?
Yeah, absolutely. So my colleague Oliver Glubb does a fantastic set of masterclasses that enable customers to understand their where they sit in terms of their digital maturity, where they would like to be in terms of their digital strategy, and then what the steps are that they can absorb both commercially, they can absorb in terms of their organizational change, and they can absorb in terms of their business still
Hmm.
needing to deliver to the customers. So it's about creating a roadmap and a plan that helps you transform over a period of time at a rate and at a pace that you can absorb and manage.
Hmm. And as you mentioned, the webinar on the March 26th at 10 a.m., which will be free for people to register for. What else, will we explore in that webinar with yourself and Oliver?
We'll explore a number of items. I think the most important thing is the art of the possible. So what is possible and what is scalable for an organisation to be able to really accelerate change in their business and transform themselves to be ready for the next generation of industrial machinery products that they wish to make and their customers wish to buy.
Hmm. Hmm. Excellent. Thank you very much. I'd encourage all our viewers to download the benchmark report, which will be in the link below on the video and also on the Machinery website article. And thank you for joining me today, Ben. It's been very insightful and very interesting.
It's been a pleasure, Justin. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.